Phill Ivey is one of poker's biggest names, is involved in a cheating scandal with two casinos worth around $20 million. It makes for great headlines, right? Ivey is a self-made millionaire with an approximate amount of over $30 million by playing high-roller poker tournaments. Phill Ivey also added a few million to his bank account by beating casinos in games like Baccarat and using a method known as edge sorting, which made him hated by some big-name casinos. So what is edge sorting, and did Phill Ivey cheat? Let's find out. Baccarat, the high-stakes card game popularized by Frank Sinatra and James Bond, is simply a game of luck, not a skill. Unlike poker, it needs no intuition or creativity. Now, unlike blackjack, the players don't benefit from a well-rehearsed betting strategy. Also, Baccarat is more like a glorified coin toss with a house advantage, hovering just above 1%. Unless, of course, you're Phill Ivey, the world-famous poker champion who found an ingenious, and it turns out banned, way to exploit the game. In the year 2012, Phill Ivey played marathon rounds of Baccarat at casinos in New Jersey and Britain. His winnings were staggering. In 4 visits to the Borgata Hotel, Casino and Spa in Atlantic City, Ivey raked in about $9.6 million. And in a 2-day Baccarat binge at Crockford's in London, he netted more than $10 million. In the year 2012, Phill Ivey and his partner, Chung Yin Kelly's son, started a multi-million-dollar win streak by playing Baccarat in New Jersey as well as in London. The two partners were seemingly unstoppable, booking over $9.6 million win at Borgata in Atlantic City and also $12 million at Crockford's in London. The wins were threatening to the casinos, but unlike blackjack, Baccarat is basically one of those table games which requires absolutely zero skill. The game is basically betting on a coin flip. However, the house has a slight edge over the players. Also, massive runs at table games are not unheard of, and the legendary gambler as well as famous player Archie Karras went on the heater of a lifetime, gaining over $40 million playing primary table games. Even with the presence of runs like this before, the casinos stayed skeptical. Their skepticism was present not only because of the amount of money won, but due to a few requests made by the gamblers. And while the Borgata paid the players of the game out of their 5 winning sessions, Crockford's withheld the winnings. Moreover, the two requested to play with a specific deck and never to have the deck changed during their sessions. They also asked a Mandarin-speaking dealer, believed for superstition, but really so he could speak in her native language. Also, they requested to play Baccarat where the dealer of the game is the only one to touch the cards. This odd request seemed to have been made for two to look as though they were not able to manipulate the deck, such as by marking cards. All of their requests were made to give them an edge over the house using, at the time, relatively unheard edge sorting technique. What is edge sorting? It is when someone with an incredibly eager eye can see tiny faults on the edges of the backs of cards. Then the players would make a mental note of which of the cards are good or bad based on the imperfections on those edges. Then after playing through the deck many times, a player who can edge sort would be able to know easily about all the cards by their flaws and place bets according to that. This would give them an edge over the house and increase the likelihood of winning big. Both Phill Ivey and his partner have been involved in legal proceedings in the UK as well as the US over winnings withheld in London and all those paid out in Atlantic City. To date, every court operation has resulted in a victory for the casinos. While Ivey stated that edge sorting is a legitimate advantage, many casinos have argued their requests were made with misleading intentions. The gaming officials now recognize edge sorting as a kind of cheating rather than an advantage play, such as counting cards at blackjack. Some would argue that Phill Ivey improperly gained an edge over the casino using shady means and that he is not entitled to roughly $20 million in payouts. Others argue that Ivey was playing the cards that were dealt to him and that it was on the casino and card maker to make sure that their cards were properly cut. And after all, people have argued that casinos are always trying to gain bigger edges on their customers, like free alcohol. So why shouldn't a customer be allowed to press his edge? Phill Ivey's poker career has been defined by his incredible ability to win at the poker table. Ivey is regarded amongst his high-stakes peers as one of the best ever to play the game, and not just no-limit hold'em, but at any poker game. We all know that Ivey has been a regular at the poker table ever since he was a teenager, using his fake ID to get into the poker rooms in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And when people mention his name, which should bring to mind his 10 WSOP bracelets, with his insane bluffs on shows such as High Stakes Poker or the Tales of the Games in Macau. Also, the more his story is talked about and promoted, the fewer people remember Phill Ivey as one of the all-time greats at the poker table. The stories of high-stakes golf or marathon sessions at the table are fun to hear about, but it does not have anything to do with his poker prowess. Phill Ivey should be considered as a great poker player and nothing else. and the more we talk about the edge sorting that happened, the less Phill Ivey is remembered as he should be. Cheaters usually try to hide the fact that they are gaining an unfair advantage against the casino. Although not seen as cheating by some, card counters in blackjack are still discreet when actually counting cards to avoid getting thrown out and blacklisted by some casinos. The difference with Ivey and Son is that they were very open with their intended actions. They never tried to fool the casino in any way, since all of their requests were relayed before any money was deposited, and the casino agreed to all of the requests. Then once the casino agreed to the terms Phill Ivey laid out, he and his partner exploited an issue in the cards and used that to their advantage. But just like a player does not have to tell someone he saw their card in Texas Hold'em, Ivey is not responsible for upholding the integrity of the game. The poker community went many years without seeing much of Phill Ivey. The days of Phill Ivey headlining the stellar high-stakes poker lineups or even being on the feature table of different WSOP tournaments seem to be long gone. Now, while we did get to see some of the poker players and Tom Don in the Triton High Rollers, it felt as if the players were retiring from the spotlight of the nosebleed games set in Macau. But that was recently changed. In a 2020 interview between Ivey and his close friend and colleague Barry Greenstein, Ivey said that he has a reignited passion for poker. Phill Ivey is back to playing the game usually and looking to crush the tables like Ivey was back in the mid-2000s. Not that Ivey stopped crushing the tables, but for the first time in years, we will see more of him. Phill Ivey is in the newest season of high-stakes poker, which is a welcome sign for poker fans. This newfound poker passion is going to be for everyone's benefit. Also, he's been crushing it lately in poker tournaments too. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, found it interesting, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to always be updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.